From the center of the universe, Toronto, Ontario, Canada, this is the SDM Show with your host, Rob Cairns. The SDM Show focuses on business, life, productivity, digital marketing, WordPress, and more. Sit back, relax, grab your favorite drink, and enjoy the show. Here is Rob.
Hi, everybody. Rob Cairns here. I'm the founder, CEO, and chief digital strategist at Stunning Digital Marketing. In today's show, I have Hamish McKay with me, and we're going to talk all about order entry. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. The SDM Show is brought to you by Stunning Digital Marketing, the digital marketing concierge that helps you put all your marketing pieces together. We are your marketing experts. We are also your WordPress security experts and know how to lock down a website and protect yourself from bad actors. So contact us at Stunning Digital Marketing today. Hey, everybody, Rob Cairns here. And today I've got my guest, Mr. Hamish McKay with me. Hey, Hamish, how are you doing today?
Very good. How are you?
Not too bad. Coming to us from, can I say where? The central part of
Mexico
the
City.
world,
Yeah,
right?
absolutely.
Mexico City, south of the good old USA, but we won't go there. Today we're going to talk about your order entry product for Spotify and sort of all things around Spotify, ordering, e-com. How did you get into Spotify for e-commerce?
Yeah, so I mean I'm 24 for context, so my career is quite short-lived at the moment, but I got a summer internship while I was studying at a university in New Zealand. And that summer internship was for a merchandising house, like a collective of brands that we were creating for famous YouTubers. And we would design and manufacture and ship their clothing and set up e-commerce storefronts for them on Shopify. And so I landed this internship there to shadow the CEO, right? This like very successful founder was like, "Hey, come under our wing. You'll learn everything about influencer marketing." And I got there and it was total chaos. It was a very classical startup. Founder had no time
Yeah.
for me. We didn't really know what they were going to do with me. And so I ended up just doing customer service tickets. And that was where my career started, was helping customers of these e-commerce stores solve their problems. And ultimately, that's where the company Order Editing also bloomed out of, because we are a customer service oriented company, or a customer experience software for e-commerce brands on Shopify.
Yeah, that's really interesting. And that's not uncommon in internships, right? You go in to do one thing and you end up doing a few other things and and it never pans out the way it plans at all.
Complete. I mean, like in my opinion, like I would be far better off in a chaotic environment where I had to figure out for myself where I could be valuable. Like how
Yep.
can I place myself in a position where I can be valuable to this business that's hired me and paid me money, so I can ultimately continue working there, as opposed to here's a really clear structure and line of
Mm.
work where you're going to be mildly valuable, but like you have to do this thing. Like this is what you're doing, because we know it works, like which would be more typical corporate. And I think if you're a type A type of person, if you're creative, if you're mildly different, or like being on your own independent type of thing, and you're early on in your career, then startups are freaking awesome because they have problems to solve. And if you know how to solve a problem, you can be very valuable very fast in your career, which has ultimately happened to me. Like I started as an agent, and within 2 months, I learned that there was no manager for this department that I was working in. And so I said, "Hey, can I be the customer service manager? And I want to hire some people." And they were like, "Yeah, sure. Go ahead, kid." And I was like 2 months into my first job, and suddenly I was managing 10 people. But it was a problem to solve. And I was the only one that put my hand
Yeah.
up to solve it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Startups are a great place to solve problems because they usually have many of them and they usually don't have um direct direction, right? They're kind of all over the place. And I don't know if that is just because of the way the founders run, or is that because of the way the venture capitalists for influxing the money run. I haven't quite figured that out yet. I mean, it's just interesting because I don't know if you know this, and your co-founder's in Toronto, right? So I can say
That's
that.
right.
And Toronto has one of the largest startup communities for tech in North America, actually. So
Mm.
it's really interesting. And it's just, I don't know, it's just an area I've decided to stay way away from in my career, just because I've been in chaotic situations. That's not the issue. I don't like the undefined stuff. Um, so you jumped in and founded a product. How did that come about being? Did that come out of being the internship you did into saying we should do better, it could do better, or
Yeah.
did it come out of another idea?
Yeah, so it was in that role, right? I was solving support tickets, and part of my
Yeah.
job as a service agent was helping customers make changes to their address after they purchase, or helping them
Mhm.
change from the medium to the large, or to cancel their order because a woman's son placed it with her credit card without permission or something. Very classical customer
It
service
happens
issues I was
all the
solving.
time. Yeah.
And I remember when I became the manager, like I was 21 at the time, right? And I was a manager, and that was very exciting for me. I'm an ambitious guy. I have big dreams for myself. And so immediately as I got lunged into this quite unique situation, at least from my perspective, I just started geeking out really hard. I'm like, how can I
Yep.
be the world's best 21-year-old manager? And so I was reading business books and reading articles and going for coffees with people, and just generally trying to upskill so I could like do a good job. And naturally, I stumbled across the idea of having one-to-one meetings. And so I started doing these one-to-one meetings with this like young kid and the person with 10 years experience at this company doing customer service. And one of the things that I asked the 10 people that worked with me on my team was, what do you spend the most amount of time doing? What is consuming the majority of your day? A question that
Yep.
probably a lot of people ask now as it relates to AI, like how can we use AI to automate these significant
No
chunks of
question.
admin?
No question.
And at the time, their response, 10 out of 10 times, was I spend the majority of my day editing addresses for people, or changing their sizes, or canceling their orders. And since I had done that work myself, my immediate like light bulb moment was, you know, I'm just clicking buttons here. What would happen if I just gave those buttons to the customer and just eliminated us as this middleman? Because it doesn't make any sense.
Hmm.
And shockingly enough, we were the first people. I'm sure we weren't the first people to have that idea for the product. We were the first people to execute on it. No one had built a tool that would let a customer make a change to their order post-purchase on Shopify. And so we created that software, that piece of kit. We used it ourselves for a year. It wasn't a business. It was just our own internal feature that we knew and loved. And then naturally, at the end of that year, we looked at the data and realized that, wow, you know, we self-serviced 36,000 customer support tickets. That's how many people use this over the course of a year. We're doing $40 million a year on Shopify. I bet every single other Shopify store that does 40 million would pay for this software. And that's how the company
Yeah.
started.
Yeah, it's interesting. And that's such a, to me, a basic feature that we take for granted. I, as a consumer, and I probably do 80% of my, 80 to 90% of my non-food shopping, I say non-food, online. So food's different ballgame, but 89% of what I buy online. And I'm thinking to places like Amazon, even
Mm,
other retailers, even places like Temu, if you want to go there, they all have the facility to click a button and change the address. So
exactly.
why somebody on Shopify, who is the number one e-commerce site for medium to small businesses and even larger businesses in the world, didn't have it is mind-boggling, actually.
Lucky us, eh?
Yeah, it is. But it's such, to me, it's a feature I almost never use it, but I take it for granted. Like it's there
Mm,
and I understand the reason for automating it instead of taking service calls, because my theory in business is you have to do something two or three times, find a way to automate it, find a way to get the users to do it themselves, find a way to stop those support tickets. Because why do you want to be spending all your support time changing addresses like that? That
exactly.
makes no sense.
I used to say, the impact of the software is, yeah, it saves a lot of time, particularly for larger
Mhm.
businesses. But one of the coolest, and I wrote a university project on this. It was like my summer internship project. So I published a report about the software that we built to my old lecturer, my old professor. And one of the lines in that report was, it had this impact on reducing our hours, our labor cost,
Yep.
but also our team is dramatically happier. Like
Oh yeah.
they're just having more fun because they only work on tickets where the customer appreciates them and says, "Thank you so much for doing this complicated thing for me," not, "Hey, change my address. Cool, thank you." Like, it's a low value ticket. And it's kind of like, I don't know, everyone has their lowest value piece of work in their day. And editing orders for a customer service agent is their lowest value piece of work. Like everyone just expects you to edit their order for them. There's no gratitude, there's
Yep.
no nothing. It's just like bare minimum service. And so to cut that out is it's very impactful. It's like, oh, I no longer have to send emails, you know.
Yeah. And people don't realize, those who haven't worked on any support desk of any type, that's hard work. I've worked on tech support desks. I've been a bit different, but the mechanics are still the same. And
Mm.
doing low value fruit, it's hard for the agent. The agents want to be challenged. They want to enjoy their job and doing the same old stuff. But the other side of it is the customer also wants to be empowered, because the customer is frustrated because they can't go to the order and change the order themselves either. So
Completely.
I know. And
Completely.
if it's me, I'd rather just change that address and be done with it and say, I'm done, instead of spending, you look at the customer perspective, you 10 minutes on hold waiting for an agent. They're busy. And then you get through and you're already
Yeah.
frustrated. So the agent gets a customer who's already frustrated because they should have been able to do it themselves, right?
And it's anxiety inducing. I mean, if you buy something from
Yep.
a very fast fashion brand and you
Hmm.
autofill your ex-girlfriend's house or your old address or whatever it might be, somewhere where you don't
Yep.
live anymore, and you send an email to customer service because, Princess Polly doesn't have a phone line, what's the likelihood that they're going to reply to your email before the order ships? And the next thing you know, you just get a
Oh,
notification saying your order was shipped. Here's your tracking. And then 3 hours later, the service agent replies and says, "Hey, sorry, our warehouse already processed your order. Please reach out to the courier." Like, and that happens. I kid you not, that will be happening tens of thousands of times every single day
and
across e-commerce.
I have to tell you, Hamish, my answer to that email is awful. No, I'm paying you for the order. You reach out
Right?
to your darn courier because you chose the courier, not me. I'm awful.
100%.
And I admit that. Like, they always pass the buck. Not every store, but a lot of stores pass the buck and say, this is the customer's fault. No, you chose the courier. You figure it out. Oh my
Yeah.
God.
I remember like I bought some jewelry from a Spanish jewelry company and it shipped, but it never arrived. It just never landed on my doorstep despite showing it's delivered. And I emailed them and I said, "Hey, like my package didn't arrive. Could you please resolve this?" And they said, "Sorry, it says it's delivered. This isn't our fault. The onus isn't on us. Like we can't do anything here." And I said, "Man, you're a nine-figure business. You make hundreds of millions of dollars per year.
Yep.
I spent a
Yep.
hundred dollars on your store and you can't refund me for the item that I didn't get. I'm never buying from you ever again." Like just wild. There's nothing worse than the feeling of you're the little guy, you're the, poor university student, and here's this massive corporation,
Yep.
and
Yep.
they're clinging on to your $100 like they need it. It's like you greedy
Yeah.
bastards.
Yeah, and actually, if you want to talk about even something simple like contract law, right? And I don't want to turn this into a legal conversation, but it's worth noting. Your contract is with the person you bought it with, not the courier. And
Yeah.
what they're missing is the relationship with the courier is between the company and the courier, not the consumer and the courier. And they hate hearing that. And I keep
Mm,
reminding stores and saying, this is not my problem. It is your problem. You go figure.
yeah.
Anyway, um, in terms of your product, what's it called? And what's the cost for a company to use it? Like
Yeah.
approximately.
So our company is called orderediting.com,
Yep.
and the cost varies by your order volume.
Okay.
Stores that do between 0 and 1,000 orders a month pay us $40, but stores that do between 5,000 to 10,000 orders a month pay $400. and you can see how it would scale up from there. Stores that ship out over 100,000 orders a month, like big conglomerate retailers like your Opolis or your Fashion Novas or whatever they might be,
Hmm.
they pay us $2,000 a month as a flat rate. We're always flat rate based on your order volume, and it scales up from there because naturally we deliver more value back to the brand as their brand scales.
Yeah, and that's a good way of doing it. It's all based on what's the product worth to your brand. And that's what people miss. They always say, oh, this product is $100 a month. And I say, okay, and how much money are you making and how much cost are you saving by using the product, right? You got to look at the big picture. In terms of volume, you don't have to name the brand. What's the biggest volume that you guys have, would you say? Do you have any idea?
Uh, it would probably be it would be like either Hexclad or Rothy's perhaps. I think Hexclad might be the biggest. They're about a $350 million a year brand.
Okay. Do you get a lot of support requests out of those big brands, or are they pretty self-sufficient?
I mean, they're pretty self-sufficient. Our app is quite simple. Like we do an onboarding call, there's an implementation process, and that takes,
Mhm.
an hour or so. And from there, it typically just works on itself over time. The only real support we get is when we release new features and we want to get adoption on those things, right? Otherwise,
Yep.
a stable, consistent product, they kind of onboard it in an optimized way. And there's not a lot of extra gains to make until we ship new product features. Um,
Okay. The
the
reason I
small
asked
guys
that
create the
question,
more tickets than the bigger ones.
but isn't that always the way?
Always the
You
case.
know,
Always the case.
always the case. And it's funny because the reason I ask about support requests is we all know support requests cost money, cost agents, cost time to fix, and that's the marketing tech e-commerce brands biggest cost is, as far as I'm concerned, support costs, and nobody thinks of it that way.
Yeah. Well, I mean, like one of my favorite case studies is from Opoly. They're probably
Hmm.
maybe 150, 180 million US dollars a year. This time, like May last year, before they used our product, 2,000 customers emailed them that month to make a change to their order, to cancel it
Okay.
or apply a discount code or edit their address. May this year, they've been working with us for about a year now. 40 people did.
Wow.
So from 2000 down to only 40 emails, like from nearly 100 emails a day to almost just one, insane. Like a 96% reduction in their support costs related to order editing specifically.
Mm. Um, kind of things does your order entry change product let you change besides the shipping and maybe the size of something? Can you change
Yeah,
almost anything?
it's almost anything that you could possibly want to. It's the address, the products
Yeah.
themselves, the ability to add more products or remove products. You can keep shopping from the storefront with our app and add items to your order before it ships. You can apply the discount code you forgot. You can upgrade from standard to express shipping. You can edit your delivery message or your custom notes, your gift message. You can select the delivery date if the store is offering that and change from, hey, I'm actually not going to be at home on Friday. Let's change that to Monday. You can cancel your auto self-service, and that's full scope.
Mm. And for the end client, what's the average setup time for the product itself? Like if I'm
About an
buying your
hour.
product, it only takes me an hour.
Only takes you an hour, yeah. We usually do a 30-minute implementation call, and then the merchant does about 30 minutes of testing or QA to make sure it works in the way they'd like. And if that's all clear, then they're good to go.
That's awesome. Do you do most of your development in-house, or do you go outside, like typically to India or Philippines or somewhere like that? Like what's your
Yeah, all entirely in-house. It's actually a bit confuddling. My co-founder Carol, he is the technical founder. He built this product. And he was a
okay?
solo engineer, the only engineer working on this right up until maybe 5 months ago. We had $3 or $4 billion worth of Shopify brands using our product, and he was the only engineer. It was not a good
Wow.
place to be in. But he's phenomenal. He's genuinely, I don't know how he built this all himself, but he did. We then hired another engineer called Andre from Macedonia. He's amazing. He's built apps on Shopify for the last 9 years, had a couple of exits. And so the two of them now just go to work on serious hours and they ship fast. And we're recruiting again for another engineer because the more the better. We are a product-led growth type of company.
Yeah. So what? So if they're doing all the product development, what does that leave for you?
I sell the thing. I like to say my job is amplifying a no-brainer product. Like I'm just here
Yeah.
to amplify the amazing things that my co-founder
Yeah.
and Andre are building. So
Yeah. That's
I've been
cool.
building in public on LinkedIn. I post YouTube videos. I share our product publicly so that people hear about it. I take the sales calls. I onboard. I do customer service. And naturally, I do more typical CEO things like recruiting and managing our
Hmm.
P&L. And
Hmm.
that's my specialty. I love like nothing brings me more energy from my work life than jumping on calls with Shopify brands and either
Yeah.
selling to them or helping them get live with our product. Like I just love the process of meeting people and breaking down barriers and getting them to love and advocate for what you've built. It's like the best part of my day.
And then if you're in on those calls, you can go back to your two engineers and say, hey guys, they're asking for this, this, and this. And you get a real good sense of what's going on with your customers, right?
Exactly. I mean, like I'm so in some ways I'm almost deeper on what we've built than the engineering team are just because of how much face time I get
Yeah.
with the people that are actually using it. It's a different type of perspective. I mean, I spend about 30 hours a week on meetings with brands. Like
Mm.
a lot of hours of my day is spent meeting with people. And
A
so
lot
I've
of
had
Zoom
I've
calls.
had you know I've had a couple thousand hours of meetings with brands talking specifically about this product and what problems they want us to solve. And so we
Yeah.
have amazing conversations with the engineering team and building
Oh,
new
good.
features just continually.
That's awesome. Have you had to do a lot of hard marketing for the product, or is it mostly word of mouth?
Yeah, I mean, I post a lot on LinkedIn. That's been our biggest growth
Yep.
channel, has
Good idea.
been every single day I put up a story on LinkedIn about either how the company is growing and how that feels, or what features we're building, or what clients we're launching,
Yep.
just general building a business in public type of stuff. And that's been amazing for our company. I wouldn't describe it as hard marketing because it's not performance marketing, it's not cold outreach. We're just trying to tell a really compelling story online that people want to listen to and care about. And we've been very successful with that today. The other kind of growth levers for us is the word of mouth, naturally, the referrals. But also, funnily enough, I mean, our product it's public, right? If you buy from one of
Yeah.
our clients, it's the first thing you'll see after you buy. And so when e-commerce managers or when our customers, our ideal customers, shop from a client as just a regular consumer, right? They buy a new t-shirt, they see the app and their e-commerce manager brand switches on. They go, oh, what's that? I should have that on my Shopify store. And we've actually
Yeah.
won a good 30 or 40 brands through that process of them using it as a customer, which has been really cool.
That I like. That is the gold right there, is when you get
K
somebody
factor,
using
hey?
the product and says, I want this, then you've really hit a jackpot. That's like the
Yeah,
best advertising going.
absolutely. Yeah, it's complete. It's like the definition of K factor, right? Um,
Yeah.
they see it, they want it, and they barely even take a sales call. Then they just go, "Oh, I saw you on American Tour. How much is it?" And they try it out because they go, "If that guy's paying for it, and that's what it looks like, I want that too." It's very easy.
I agree with you. Roadmap. What kind of features are you planning on adding? Or can you say, or would you rather not at this point?
No, there's a bunch of stuff coming out which we're really excited about.
Uh,
Address validation is a key piece. We want to do world-class address validation and
awesome.
disrupt that category of market a little bit. There's some cool ways we can innovate on what's been built
Hmm.
so that it is actually novel. And then the other thing is we want to build interactive email software where a
Yeah.
lot of our brands will send an email out to consumers after they buy and go, "Hey Rob, there's space in your package for this pair of socks. Get 20%
Yeah.
off the next half hour if you slip it into your box." And it
Yeah.
crushes on revenue. We currently don't power those emails, and we also don't let customers buy from an email. Like they have to click a link and then go to the checkout.
Hmm.
So we're trying to build software at the moment where
The
one, we're
only
sending
thing
the
the
emails. Mhm.
the only thing I would say to that, and I think that's great marketing as a marketer, is you got to be careful because smart customers like I figured
Yeah,
this out.
train your behavior.
So I have, I hate to say it, I've trained myself to gamify the brands a little bit. So when
Mm,
I order from certain brands, I was telling this story to my fiance the other day. about a flower brand I ordered, and it's an online flower store. I have a corporate discount to start with. Do you know I never check out my flowers for the first hour and a half after I put
Because
them
it'll
in my
send you
cart?
20% off.
You know where I'm going.
Yeah.
And I figured this out. And that's on top of my corporate discount, which is 20%. So I just let them sit there. And she said to me, "How do you do that?" And I said, "It's very easy. I never order anything I need same day. So whether I
Mm,
send it at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, doesn't matter."
doesn't matter.
So I just let it sit there. That's the only caveat with that for a brand is you got to be really careful. You don't let
For
your users
sure.
gamify it because people will figure it out, right? So
For sure.
yeah. And I think that's a cool way to say, you've got room in your parcel to add this. I think of Chinese retailers shipping to North America, unless you're in the States right now because of all those things called tariffs. But
Mm,
they do that. They do that quite regularly where they'll send out room and say, "There's room in your package. Do you want to add this, this, and this, and this, and this?" And by the
yeah,
way,
it's something.
you've got 10 more hours to add it, and then we're going to ship. So it doesn't matter, right?
Yeah, it's something that I think marketers, particularly email marketers, forget about where
Yep.
you should always have a reason to email someone. Like you should never just
Mhm.
send an email for the sake of emailing or to try and get something to happen. But like if
Yep.
I'm emailing you to try and get you to add more products and if I have a reason to do this because hey, there's space in your package for more products, it makes it feel far more justified from a customer's experience and like more organic and natural and actually makes you more inclined to buy the thing instead of just hey, get a discount for no reason. Like keep shopping.
Yeah.
Come on, keep shopping, please. Instead of, there's actually come on, save on shipping. You've got space
Yeah.
here.
No, I agree with that. Um, the other thing too is I think products like yours that make people like my experience even better
Mm,
um, gets the customer to keep coming back and saying online shopping's not so bad. And I was out on where was I on Tuesday with one of my best friends, and we were shopping at Costco. We all know Costco, right? In North
yeah.
America, the big. And we were in Costco, and she said to me, "Rob, you don't do a lot of shopping again unless it's food." I was in Costco for food and meds, and I said, the reality of my life is if I can do it easy from home, nothing I buy I need now. I
Yeah.
don't need it the next morning. And some retailers, Amazon, a few clothing retailers, have actually gone to this. If I buy it before 5 o'clock at night, I can have it by 9 a.m. kind of deal too. So, but I looked at what I shop, and 99% of the stuff I buy, I'm not doing it to fix an immediate problem. I need it within a day or two. And honestly, Hamish, I hate shopping malls more than
Mm,
anybody. So I don't shop in malls. If you're going to get me in the mall, his has to get me in a mall and say, "We're going shopping and we're going shopping for stuff for you. And we need it out," because
mm,
I hate them. And I hate indoor malls more than I hate stores. So I'd rather shop in a big box store, if you know what I mean, than in a mall. If I'm going into a mall, it's for one of two things usually: A, the movies, or B, dinner. It's a social
mm.
experience. It's not, and you can appreciate that. So anything that makes my life easy working at home makes my life way easier. So,
Completely. I hate
and
shopping
you,
in malls too.
yeah, hence why this product would make your life easy, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's an important thing it's one of the hardest parts about our software specifically is that
Yeah,
once you turn it on, you
yeah,
almost forget that it exists because you just
yeah.
wake up the
Well,
next day and no one contacts you anymore, and you kind of forget that there was this old world where you had to used to have to help people edit their orders.
mm,
And so over time, like brands struggle to quantify the ROI maybe, unless we're generating all this upsell revenue for them, which we do to offset that.
yep,
But from their perspective, like they put this live and then 6 months later, they kind of forget that thousands of customers are having this amazingly beautiful experience where they can just
yeah,
do this thing easily. and it might make them inclined to shop again. It might increase your LTV, all of these nice like e-commerce buzzwords or KPIs that people want to hit. And
Mm.
I definitely think and believe that we play a key role in that.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, the reality is and we know on a lot of e-commerce stores, the checkout experience is crappy, right? We know that.
Yeah.
I mean, I look at where I shop, I look at some of the brands I work with, and one of them is a big Fortune 500 national brand in Canada in the plus size clothing chain, and they're changing their whole checkout experience right now. Now they are
Mm.
not on Shopify, they're on a custom solution, but they're changing it because they realize it's not good. And the problem is, if the end consumer finds the checkout experience bad or difficult, or they have to call to change everything, they're just going to say, forget this. I'll find somebody else who does it well.
Yeah.
Because we all are in a time crunch in today's world, right?
Completely. Completely. I mean, if you like every customer that you burn, they know how much that costs their brand, right? They know that
Mm-hmm.
if a customer doesn't buy, like if a customer buys once and never buys again, we lost $500
Yep.
because the average customer spends $500 over their life with us. And
Yep.
those can add up for every single person that reaches out to cancel their order or to change their address and has it not happen. Like my life's work at the moment, my early 20s work is there are a plethora of online stores that have in their FAQ policy. The question is, can I make a change to my order? And the answer is, sorry, since we process our orders to our warehouse so fast, we're unable to make changes to orders after purchase. Please double check before you complete the checkout. And so there are consumers reaching out to brands like Elo Yoga or Skims or Princess Polly saying,
Yep.
hey,
Yep.
I auto-filled my wrong address. Can I change it? And the AI chatbot will automatically respond to them and say, sorry, our warehouse processes orders so fast, we can't make changes to orders. And they just said there's
Yep.
nothing we can do, which is genuinely criminal. Every single person who receives that message is not coming back to that website because it makes you look at
Yep.
like it feels incompetent. Like, are you incompetent? Can you not
Yep.
change an order? It's ridiculous.
Yeah. And I was thinking about, talking about that again. I was looking at an order of all places from Temu, and they're probably I don't know, they're probably the number one Chinese marketplace shipping to North America, except the US right now. I wonder why. And tariffs again.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
they actually allow you to change anything in your order for about 8 hours. They do that on purpose.
Mm,
They tell you if you got to change an address, if you got to change, add something, because they have minimum. And the reason they have minimums is it's not worth it for them to ship anything under 30 or 35 bucks Canadian. So they don't even bother. And I get that.
yeah,
But they say, oh, you can add to the order, you can change anything. Amazon's the same way. You can go into an Amazon order until they actually ship it. And Amazon's usually, even on next day orders, usually 4 to 5 hours. You can generally change something, but these companies that say, oh, we don't want to change it, I think that's just lazy, to be honest with you, on
mm,
their behalf. And a good way not to keep and retain customers. Like then the customer says, as you say, says, why do I want to deal with this, right?
I agree. Bugger off.
I've been I've been there with some ladies fashion chains for my other half, and I'm like, I don't think I'll buy her anything from here anymore. I'll go find somewhere else. I'm okay with that. So if anybody's got any questions or wants to find out more about the product or more about what your team does, where's the best way?
Yeah, the best place to find me is on LinkedIn. That's where we tell our story very publicly. And it's just under
Yeah.
my name, under Hamish McKay, which is MCKAY. And if you want to look up our website, it's autoadding.com. We got that .com right at the start of our journey. And yeah, that's where you can find us.
Thanks, my friend. Thanks for sharing your story. Have yourself a wonderful day and all the best with the product.
You too. Thanks, Rob.
This podcast has been brought to you by Stunning Digital Marketing, your digital marketing concierge to help the business owner put all his pieces together, whether it's email marketing, WordPress security, WordPress design and development, PPC, and more. Tech, stunning digital marketing for all your digital marketing needs today. Very special thank you to Hamish for joining me on this edition of the SDM Show. The SDM Show is dedicated to my late father, Bruce Cairns. Dad, I miss you very much every day. My mother, Ann Cairns, who's still doing really well and is an inspiration. And of course, Tiz Maroney. And Tiz, I know I've said it, but thank you so much for all the inspiration you give me every day.